another edition of The Morning View.
This time yesterday, it was, what does Turkey Al Sheikh know? It's definitely fake news. People got nothing to talk about because it's the international break. Fast forward 24 hours, and Turkey Al Sheikh has spoken again. And it's not Saudi. Is there going to be a new 5 billion offer for Manchester United put down on the table? Or in excess of 5 billion pounds? Man United seem to be in the dark about this, but Turkey Al Sheikh is saying that he's caught wind of a consortium from the UAE that are coming together to potentially put a bid in. Are we back here again? You know, UAE, Abu Dhabi, Dubai vibes, etc., etc. So it's not Saudi. You know what I mean? It isn't Saudi, but there's talks. Something's happening. Whether or not it materializes into an actual bid, I personally will believe it when I see it. I'm not getting too excited, but let me know what you guys are saying. Because Turkey Al Sheikh said, yeah, it might not happen. Also stated he's a Man United fan who just would like it to happen. But he's saying, I got sources, and this is what I'm hearing. Let me know what you lot are saying. Is this just international break talk, or is there something else there? We have to break it down. Let me know in the comments. Smash a like on the video, people. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Brendo straight away says, tired of the rumors, guys. Yes, I know. But the rumors are spreading. Shout out Gregory Isaacs, bro. Like, this is what it is. We have to talk about it. And for everyone who's like, oh, you should know better. It's clickbait. This ain't that. Like, this is legitimate, influential people talking. And now the UK journalists are starting to add more context. So we got a lot to get into, Owen. Real life stuff.
Yes, we do have a lot to get into. It's not just rumor and innuendo. I mean, I suppose to an extent there are rumors, but like Flex is saying, it's who it's coming from. Turkey Al Sheikh, a very well-connected man, doubling down yesterday as well, not going down the route of my words been taken out of context. No, I meant what I said. I meant what I said. I hope it happens. So, of course, we're going to be discussing about that. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. And the question is, Flex, when it comes to the Manchester United ownership, who is going to be the final one standing? Wow. Ooh. Forget that. You could be the final one standing. Well, you know, you could be the final one standing next weekend because, as you can see right there in the sidebar, £200,000. The race to become William Hill's final one standing is hotting up. And if you're still within a shot at glory, don't forget to make your pick ahead of the next match week deadline to stay in the game. That's 3 p.m. next Saturday. Not this weekend, next Saturday, because, of course, it's international break. And if you're knocked out and you say, look, I've been doing this for a while, I keep getting knocked out, don't worry. A new jackpot game launches every single Premier League game week. And next week, you can see it right there in the sidebar. You can join a new game. You can only win up to £200,000. So if you've not signed up yet, the rules of the game are very simple. Pick a team each weekend, win, you're through. But if you lose or draw, you're out. You can only use that team once. All you have to do is download the William Hill app. Links in the video description below. It's pinned in the chat. And you can download it from the William App Store. You can go to the website. TNCs apply, UK and Ireland only. You have to be over 18. And as always, please gamble responsibly. Now, I can't actually remember, Flex, who I picked last week. But what I do know is
like that, innit?
I know. I know I'm out. Yeah. I can't remember who I actually picked.
But you picked wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, who did you? I think you went. I swear.
I thought I went relatively safe. I went relatively safe, but I can't.
Did you go like Man City at home to? Oh no, they were away to Brentford.
It says round one. So,
but either way, if you see round one, it means you're not.
Yeah, it's not gone well. It's not gone
well.
But
at least you're in 200k. I'm in. As it stands, I'm in round one of the 200k as well because I got to. But I'm also in round 3 of the 20k pot. So that's what's good. So yeah, Saturday 5th, Saturday 18th, of course, at 3 p.m. I'm in the 200k pot, which is the one you're doing now. But Saturday 12:30, I've got to change. I am in the final one standing round 3 because obviously, like you say, as you drop out of different jackpots from the big mega 500k one, it goes down to 200, etc. I think there was a 50k, but I'm in a 20k. So I'm going to make my pick now for the 20K one, and you're making your pick as we speak for the 200K one, right?
Yes, I am. And
right.
it says here, which is quite cool.
So I picked Man City last week.
It tells you how many people are sort of in that round. So you can see right there, I'm starting over again. I'm going up against the small pool of over 103,000 people. So I fancy my.
I'm going up against
chances.
18. There was 87,745, and now it's down to 18,508. So I'm up against just over 18,500 people. Just tell you what.
Difficult. They're difficult.
I tell you what. This ain't great, is it?
Difficult.
West Ham, Brentford, no. Liverpool, United, no. Fulham, Arsenal. Is it Arsenal you're going with there? Burnley, Leeds, you don't really want to touch.
There's
Palace,
no
Bournemouth,
real dead
way.
certs here, is there? There's no real.
No. I used Man City already, but even them against Everton. But Brighton, Newcastle, Forest, Chelsea. Oh, mate, and just struggling. But
Is that the 12:30 one?
Yeah.
See, I don't have that. It's even harder.
Oh yeah, that's because I'm in the 20K one. Oh, mate. Owen, I'm saying in your one, it's got to be Arsenal Fulham. It has to be. That's the only one I look at that where I say
it's away. It's just the fact that it's away, isn't it? But Arsenal good form. I'm gonna. I think you're right.
I'm going Arsenal as well, mate.
Yeah. Right. I'm locked in.
Locked in as well. Pick submitted. We've both gone Arsenal.
Do you know what's mad as well is that if you were a fan of like another team, you would probably look at the Man United Liverpool game and go, "Wow, Liverpool, they've not."
Yeah, we just don't want to do that here.
But can't do that. But that would probably be the one.
Liverpool need to bounce back. 3 away games in a row. Back at home, they ain't losing there. That's for sure. It's definitely not going to be 4 losses in a row. They'll bounce back. Liverpool, easiest choice, but we're not trying to get involved in that.
No, can't do that. So there you go. Once again, reminders, guys. T&Cs apply. UK and Ireland only. You have to be over 18. And as always, please gamble responsibly. Right, Flex. Rumors. Oh my goodness me. Yes, it's all happening. See, I can change. That's the key to broadcasting.
You got me
you just got
voice management.
Yeah, the audience might be sort of drifting, and you just go, right, I'm going to up my sort of, level.
And I went, the tempo's up, the level's up. Spit my tea out, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a big story. Yeah, it
is a big story, bro.
So, where do we start with this one? I mean, we could do a bit of a could do a bit of a full chronology here. So, going back to the initial post yesterday. And the day before, was from Turkey Al Sheikh. Said this: the best news I've heard today is Manchester United is now in an advanced stage of completing a deal to sell to a new investor. I hope he's better than the previous owners. Right? Everyone goes, what? What are you talking about? Now, and yesterday we had some pushback from Simon Stone. People within Manchester United sort of go, we haven't heard anything about this. We don't really know what he's talking about. We've rejected these claims that this is happening. We don't know anything. So you thought, okay, it's done. It was just a story. He's misinformed, or his words are taken out of context, bad translation, something like that. Then it comes out from the likes of Alex Crook, Ben Jacobs, TalkSport, and others going, actually, the group that Turkey Al Sheikh is referring to is from the UAE. It's not from Saudi. It's not from Qatar. It's something that he's basically heard and he's not involved in. And this is actually something that he later confirmed himself on social media yesterday evening. He doubled down. He said yesterday's post about Manchester United's potential sale meant one thing. The club is in an advanced negotiation phase with a new investor. Just to clarify, I am not the investor, nor are they from my nation. So they're not from Saudi and it's not Turkey. I'm posting this as a fan who wishes the deal to happen, though it might not necessarily happen. So distancing, but also doubling down, going, I meant what I said, but just to clarify, it's got nothing to do with me. This is just something that I've heard. I'm a Manchester United fan. Now, more's come out here from different articles now as the journalists, like you say, who have been caught off guard by this, have started to do their digging, going, have you heard anything? What's going on? Within Man United, the response has been, we don't know anything about it. But from other sources, they're saying, actually, there is maybe something in this. Chris Wheeler from the Mail saying that Manchester United could be the subject to this fresh takeover bid following the claim by Turkey Al Sheikh. A consortium based in the United Arab Emirates is understood to be considering making an offer to the Glazer family, who would demand in excess of £5 billion to sell the club. And they've reportedly already approached some ex-United players about coming on board as ambassadors.
That bit,
now,
just really quickly before you carry on, that last bit there about the ambassador. Remember when Sheikh Jassim was going to be on his way in? One of the mandates was that, getting ex-pros involved. We want them close to the club again, etc. That was that. I remember that being quite a key theme.
Yeah, and it continues by saying, critically, so far, there's been no contact with United's majority owners, and the picture is very different to the one painted by Turkey in his post on Wednesday. But his claim does have credence because he's the head of the General Entertainment Authority, responsible for bringing some of the world's highest profile sporting events to Saudi Arabia, and is understood to be in talks with Manchester United over possibly playing there during Riyadh season, which starts on Friday, today, and runs until March. However, the comment caught United by surprise. An Old Trafford insider said Thursday that they don't know where the information has come from. In fact, the consortium's plans are still at an early stage with no guarantee will even develop into a formal bid. It is understood the group is UAE based, but the key figures are not from Qatar or neighboring Saudi Arabia. Finally, this is where it gets interesting about what Ineos would know, because the answer is Ineos technically might not know anything because they don't have to know anything. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, of course, and Ineos fended off a rival bid from a Qatari consortium headed by Sheikh Jassim when he purchased 27.7% of Manchester United in February of last year. Now, critically, the deal included a, quote, drag-along clause that took effect this August, so just a couple of months ago. And basically, this drag-along clause enables the Glazers to open talks with potential investors without Ratcliffe's knowledge, and it actually could force him to sell his shares should they actually agree a deal. So James kind of mentioned this last night on Trafford Talk, kind of before this article came out, and he was sort of saying, well, people that would be in the know, I don't know anything about it from those that I've spoken to, was effectively what he was saying. But then you find out that those that would and should be in the know actually
might not be because of that clause.
Yeah, won't be in the know.
Nothing to do with them.
The Glazers could absolutely and be well within their rights, as per the deal, to go and start these negotiations, to go and start talking to people. And you don't have to tell the SEC or anything like that if it's very, very, very early stages and it's very, very informal. And maybe Man United don't know that much about it at the moment, but the groundwork's being done over there in the UAE, that Ineos could be gazumped by it. They could just be told one day, yeah, we're getting close to a deal. We didn't have to tell you. And also, you've got to sell us your shares now because we've agreed this deal. And they could be completely powerless. So this is when... So,
you're on your way back.
I'm coming back.
You're coming back. You're nearly back.
I'm coming back. So basically, Ineos could be totally, totally powerless. They could be totally, totally surprised by this.
Yeah.
And to go back to the initial comment that was on the screen earlier on, going tired of the rumors, it's more than a rumor at this point, I feel like, because this isn't just... It started off not with just some random journalist, say, like in the Middle East or anything like that. No, this is Turkey Al Sheikh, someone very well connected, saying it's a thing. He's then going back onto social media going, by the way, definitely is a thing. I've heard it. It's not me, but I've heard it. And now you've got this information coming out that actually, just because people within Manchester United say we haven't heard anything, that doesn't actually mean anything. That means nothing. Just because they haven't heard it does not mean it's not... might not be some legs there. That's not to say that it's going to, like they say, turn into something, or it's actually going to become a bid, a takeover, that, and the other. But something there. It feels like there is something there with this
something there. Until there's nothing there, I think there's something there. Now, I don't think it's something to invest all our stocks into to be like, oh my God, it's going to happen. Listen, it's the hope that kills you, right? I think we're so scarred from what happened during the last takeover when we really, at one point, there was a point, well, I say we, I don't like speaking for everyone, but it felt like there was such a feeling of like, oh my gosh, like the Glazers could actually sell like this whole thing. They could actually cash in and get out of our football club. And then the more it started to transpire, we realized, okay, they're pulling a blinder here. They're looking for minority investment, etc., etc., and then whatever it led to with Ineos. And of course, it was a time where there was a lot of disagreement in the fan base when the Sheikh Jassim thing was happening, the Qatar versus, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and stuff like that. Loads of people sort of saying, no, don't want state-owned, history of the club, I don't like that, this, that, and the other. So Jim was doing the line of putting the Manchester back in Manchester United, all of that stuff, doing that, those kind of rhetorics. And it led us to here. So I think whenever something like this pops up again, we want there to be hope, right? We want there to be hope. So that's the first thing about like just the emotional side of us fans. The second bit now is who's actually saying this, which I agree with you, bro. This changes things, because what it used to be, or what it has been in the past, is, like you say, someone at Bloomberg says this, or Mike Keegan was really across it, kind of had him on the channel a few times. I know Chris Wheeler's been quite across it a lot. Said journalists would say this, or big outlets from Qatar or that part of the world would suggest Sheikh Jassim's doing this. Turki Al Sheikh is such a significant figure in sports in that region and business in that region that you have to listen. And then because he's clarified what he's saying, where he's not just done like some cryptic thing to leave Man United on fans on the end of his comment section to be like, what's he going to say next? He's saying, I'm going to clarify this. What I've been told, or what I know to be true, is they are at an advanced stage. He's saying they are at an advanced stage of investment. Now, that could look like investment coming in for stadium. It could look like investment coming in for infrastructure or something. But then when you kind of read on and gather some more facts about it, it is suggesting like, well, yeah, there is stuff that like you said, clauses in contracts whereby if a certain offer came in that, the Glazers they don't owe Sir Jim anything. We're now into a period where they don't have to tell him shit. He could just walk into character and they go, by the way, we just accepted 7 billion from a UAE consortium. So that 27-point-something%, you've got to sell it, which is mad, by the way. I say if that's what we're being told is part of his deal, that's a really risky clause to have in there, considering you're working with the Glazers who are money grabbing, because if somebody did come in and offer an astronomical amount of money, more than what the Glazers are asking for or what the Glazers would want, I don't see how they wouldn't accept it, probably. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a record bid for a franchise, etc., etc. And so Jim could just be left in the dark, having pumped his own money in, having been in the firing line, having built this, footballing department, and then go off that. So listen, I personally, I don't think that will happen. I don't think that will happen. I really don't. But I mean, there's something brewing. I just, maybe just don't know what.
From again, this isn't, I'm far from an expert in any of this kind of stuff, particularly shares and obviously finances or what have you. From what just quickly looking online, it would look like these kind of drag along clauses, as they're called, are pretty common in when you have people buy, minorities of company. Because
so it's what majority guys do to just protect themselves. They were like, we don't want to be tied into this. We might want to sell it
because also it allows them it gives them the flexibility to actually have a full sale, 100% sale of the business, because you could have a situation where you're looking to sell in totality to an investor or what have you, and obviously those minority shareholders, maybe they could block it depending on certain rights or what have you, and it gives you extra control. So I think, again, far from an expert, but I don't, from what I'm looking at, I don't think the drag along clause or anything like that is completely uncommon. But once again, it goes back to what we said at the time with the whole Ineos acquiring the 27%, is Glazers have pulled a blinder. They got a shitload of money from Ineos for a small portion of the company. They couldn't be bothered anymore to run it. They were letting people like Ed Woodward and Richard Arnold effectively run large majority of the business while they stayed in America. Inos came in and they went, all right, you can do it. Oh, and by the way, as part of this purchase agreement, you've also got to put some money into the club because we don't want to. We don't want to, but you can if you want to get part of this. And on top of that, can you like build a training ground for us? That'd be good. You know, build a training ground. And for all of that, they do have the potential just to be like, yeah, we've agreed a deal with, you know, let's say someone from the UAE, and we'll get a shitload of money. You got to sell up, and thanks, but we're kind of done.
See you later, we're off. Yeah,
that's all theoretically possible. I think also as well, Ineos might have first refusal rights and what have you. So there could, I suppose, be a situation whereby, you know, they go, look, we've agreed a deal with this UAE consortium. You want to match it? You want to beat it? You can if you want. But at the same time, can they even afford to do that? This was the whole point in the first place, is Britain's wealthiest man wealthy enough to purchase 100% of Manchester United, right? You know what I mean? Because we were saying, because it's such a huge amount of money that would be required to buy 100% and then write off the debt and this, that, and the other. Could even he afford it? So there's a very realistic possibility. I look at this is that from the very moment that Manchester United made that announcement that they were seeking strategic alternatives or exploring strategic alternatives, that the Glazers were maybe playing the long game here of going, right, maybe we get someone in for a minority, get some cash injection, maybe upgrade the facilities, what have you, see where the market's going in the next couple of years and see if we get some more. Because they did say at the time, didn't they, that they didn't get anyone sort of matching close to their valuation. Maybe they thought, well,
which is why they didn't.
Let's get someone a minority person in, get some money in the club, in the business, and we'll revisit it in a few years. And maybe they could do that. Like you, I still go, I think there is still several steps that I would have to see before I go, oh, this really is real. And I think we're nowhere near that.
Doesn't feel like that, does it?
Yeah. No, and it does feel like a lot of the noise is coming from obviously sort of the UAE side of things of, okay, this is happening. They're preparing, you know, they're doing their due diligence and maybe putting together what a package would look like, and maybe going to these ex-players and saying, hey, would you be interested in being a bit of a public face of this? So that I think there's a lot to happen. And as we spoke about last night on Trafford Talk, this could also be very tied into the new stadium too. With this, there could be a scenario whereby the Glazers, Ineos, and this consortium are all in on it together, because
that could be the investment. Might not be for the actual club. It could just be in order to get this new stadium over the line. What does it look like? It could be something like that.
They need money, and they need money, and
exactly.
As James said last night, they need money, and they need land to do that. And money is required to purchase said land because the people are maybe overpricing it a bit. And we've already seen situations where the stadium design's gone from having a tent to not having, you know, that canopy tent thing because of the land required and whether or not they'd be able to get it. And you know, we've heard ever since really the summer, or really ever since that new stadium was presented, that Omar Barada has effectively been doing a bit of a world tour, pitching the project to a lot of different investors, hasn't he? Going, this is our new stadium. We're looking for people to get involved. You could name it. You could have, you know, you could be really involved in this project. So it could very much be that as well, with Omar Barada and others trying to, you know, get some funding for the stadium. We've seen the Glazers be out in the, in the Arab states quite a lot, actually. I remember when that whole Qatar stuff was happening, we saw, I think it was Avram Glazer, you know, around in Qatar and what have you. So they've certainly got links there. So
yeah, and I just think the interesting bit is like when Chris Wheeler's sort of claiming that, you know, once he's done a bit of digging, whoever his sources may be, he's saying that they are considering, like this consortium is considering making an offer to the Glazer family. Like they're considering doing it. So now listen, I know it's a bit of a weird fight, but you got Chris Wheeler versus Turki Al Sheikh, and Chris Wheeler saying they're considering it, and Turki Al Sheikh, Turkey saying that they're in advanced stages. And advanced stages, for something to be advanced, you would think that the majority owners would have an inclination of what's going on. Advanced means sort of, you know, crossing the T's, dotting the I's in basic business terms, advanced. It's not
It said
early
specifically, Man United is now in an advanced stage of completing a deal to sell to a new investor.
See,
Now, obviously,
so that's not stadium. That's not.
Yeah.
That's a portion of the club, a percentage of the
But
club.
we have to be careful here, I suppose, as well, because, you know, this is a translated version from Arabic. English is also not his first language, and it wasn't even a post that was in English as well. The second post was in English, saying that, once again, the club is in an advanced negotiation phase with a new investor. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, and Man United, and he's referencing my post about Manchester United's potential sale. That's what I'm saying. So he's not. There's no ambiguity about. Is it from what we've seen? From what we've seen, it doesn't look like investment for a stadium or investment for a bit of cash injection, and you can get a. It's insinuating. It's insinuating sale. Yeah. Chris Wheeler's insinuating sale consideration. Turkey Al Sheikh is insinuating sale. Nobody else is insinuating anything else. We're kind of, because we're not really sure what to make of this, we're rightly so being cautious and sort of throwing out, no, there is this stadium. We do need money. We do need this. Maybe it's not a sale. But the two people that are, and especially Turkey, who started this all off, like, they're not talking about no stadium, bro. They're talking about the sale of the club. And I don't know. Because also, could you get the Glazers / Man United, obviously, when approached for comment, yeah, just shut that down. We don't know. Don't let them know we're talking to UAE. They don't need to know this. They don't need to know that. And then a couple of days later, we're going to get an exclusive from another journalist when things start to get leaked. I don't know. But is it a surprise to see the club go? Would the club go? Would it be likely? And I'm just asking a question to you guys out loud so we can think about it. Would it be likely that if this was actually happening in the background, at the first port of call of all the media kind of getting a whiff of it because Turkey Al Sheikh's gone so strong because he's well connected, would the club go, there has been some conversations, we don't want to comment further at this point? Would they actually address that? Or is the easier thing for them to do go, we're not aware of this interest at this time?
Well, this is what I would kind of push back to with James last night on Trafford Talk, because he said, well, you know, when those articles from like Simon Stone and others came out saying that basically they don't know what he's talking about, he was sort of going, well, that's the club denying it. So that's a pretty good indication that it's not really a thing. And I sort of went, well, from reading it how we've sort of read and finding out more about those drag-along clauses and this, that, and the other, and also the fact that Man United haven't actually even really been necessarily approached with this bid yet. It's maybe just sort of foundational stages, let's say in Dubai, of them going, obviously, we've got the money. How would we put this bid together? What would the bid look like? Who would be involved in the bid, etc., etc. So just because they say, oh, we haven't heard anything about it, or we don't know anything about it, again, that doesn't mean that it's not real. It just means they don't know. It just means they haven't heard. And depending on, you know, how high up in the organization you were would be dependent on if you're going to hear about it. Like, for instance, I'm sure if we reached out to, say, the Man United comms team and went, what's the situation with this? They would probably go, we don't know anything about it. But what then?
100%. They would 100%.
But why would they know anything about it? You know, it's a bit above their pay grade, right? So, yeah, it's just it's an odd one. It's a really odd one. And I think what does speak volumes, really does speak volumes, is that there's not this outward, it's definitely not a thing, it's not happening. No one's really said that. The only thing Man United have said is, well, we haven't really heard about it. We haven't heard about that, and we're kind of confused as to where that's come from. But you don't get, well, it's definitely not happening. It's not real. You know, there's not, you can't definitively say that. And if like before it had come from some outlet based in Dubai or in Abu Dhabi or something like that, that's when you would go, oh, well, take that with a pinch of salt. And you'd have probably have gotten those journalists based over here going, despite reports in Dubai today, Manchester United are not in negotiations with a UAE based consortium, blah blah blah. But we haven't had that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We haven't had that, which I think is really, really odd. And I know that there might be a bit of pushback of our typical international break, and it's just international break BS. It would be a bit odd of just like the break and this the story in this international break that's going to go away once the football starts is Man United nearly got bought. That would, you know what I mean?
Just that's what it is. Yeah.
This is bigger than just like a talking point about whether Kobbie Mainoo can fit in the system or not. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a.
If this wasn't Turkey Al Sheikh, bro, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it
we
wouldn't
would
be
be like,
thing.
here we go again. It's because it's
No.
him, and maybe that's the double-edged sword of it. Like, it's him, so you have to listen. But then, just because it's him, it also doesn't mean, and he also says it, doesn't mean it's going to happen. So I do that. That's why I'm like, I don't know. He's just such a credible person, and he's just done so much credible things, significant things in the world of sport. It's like you shouldn't. It's almost like he's earned that respect, in my opinion. He's earned that credibility for, like, when he speaks, you listen, because it's like him going into the boxing world saying, right, all these fights that you lot don't want to make, and you, Eddie Hearn, and you, Frank Warren, and then obviously Ben Shalom's the new one to the party. I'm going to make you all work together, and we're going to make some of the biggest fights we've ever seen. Do you know what? I'm doing Crawford Canelo. Now, people thought they probably would never ever see that fight, like, ever. You know, some of the other fights that have happened, it's like, God, I just didn't think we'd see this. Finally, we're getting the big fights made. Obviously, the controversy comes in of, like, the fights are over there in Riyadh. The British boxing fans can't get there. So, you know, but the Riyadh season's been at Wembley Stadium. Do you know what I'm saying? Riyadh season's been at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So, but what I'm saying is his contribution to sport from that side of the world has been so significant, and he's so wealthy, or, you know, is part of such a wealthy state of what they're doing. You have to listen when these men talk. It doesn't mean you have to believe it. It doesn't mean you have to be like, well, he said it, so it's 100%. I'm not saying that. But I do think there's more credibility there than just going, like you said, it's just in that should break shit, man. What's the point in even talking about this? No, I don't think that. I think you have to talk about it and see where it goes. It may lead to nothing. And then you go, well, that was a whole waste of time. And then maybe there's a strike across in Turkey Al Sheikh's box. But then again, would there be? Because he said, I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. I'm just telling you, this is what I know.
Hope it does. Yeah.
I hope it does.
Like I said,
he's made it very clear. He hasn't left us in the dark.
I also think that, like, let's say it doesn't happen. I think that it also feels quite unlikely that the deal for us to go and play in Saudi, whenever that may be, doesn't happen either, because he openly took a swipe at the current ownership. I'm like, I hope they're better than the current lot. You know, when talking about in his first post, what was it? What did he say specifically again? He said, I hope he's better than the previous owners, is what he said. Yeah. So
saying it to him as well.
If you were negotiating to have this deal to go play as part of Riyadh season, you think that would get brought up going, you just kind of like cussed us out a little bit, like publicly. Like, what's the deal about that? What are you doing that for? But then at the same time, right, money talks and whatever. So yeah, no, when it comes to Turkey Al Sheikh, like I said, very credible, very legitimate. He has been able to do things in the sporting world, but particularly combat sports, that a lot of people did not think were possible. Obviously, we know about the high-profile boxing fights. He's the owner now of Ring. And obviously, he's done huge stuff with, as I mentioned, WWE. You got the Royal Rumble there next year. You've got WrestleMania in 2027, which is, I mean, there's a whole controversy about that, because that week is so big that you get companies from all around the world. It's a destination event. And the whole point is, are people really going to fly, you know, all throughout the world to go to Riyadh to watch WrestleMania? But money talks. So if he's saying it and he's hearing he's hearing it, you know, it's if there's anyone that knows about these things and is moves in those kind of circles, that he's aware of those deals, it certainly would be him.
100%. Stretford Signal says my RTA fines and expenditures saving my club. Let's see. Andre says there's no smoke without fire. I think something is happening, but I'm not getting carried away right now. I think that's the key. Just don't get carried away. I don't think we should be on here going, it's happening. Oh my God, finally we're going to get what we want. The Glazers are going to go. I wouldn't go anywhere near that. Because you'll just be potentially.
That's you know the other part of it, Flex, isn't it? Like the whole thing about the 5 billion. If they bid 5 billion, I think it'll probably get rejected.
100%. Because weren't they? Were they up like asking for 10 and that before?
They were asking
8, 9,
for.
10.
I think it was in the Sheikh Jassim. I think what was the highest bid he went to? Was it 5? Maybe towards the end.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think Ineos were around that mark as well, but basically Ineos had to backtrack, didn't they? Because of Glazers weren't going to sell for that amount. That's why they had to switch to minority. I think the highest was 5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Andre. There's no smoke without fire, which is basically what we've been saying. Something looks like it's happening, but not getting carried away. I think that's the best way to break it down. Glenn C says, it would seem like the only reason a full takeover didn't happen was nobody wants to pay $33 for no voting Class A shares that trade for 15. Well,
again, that was the thing last time, wasn't it? That was the thing last time is they felt that the Glazers were just overpricing and overvaluating the whole thing.
Because it still just benefits them. Exactly. Everything they were doing was putting them in a better position than the minority investors with that specifically. Jason says, doesn't the Glazers own a cricket team in the UAE? So they have good links there. I don't know. Did the Glazers own a cricket team there as well? Not sure.
I think that was a thing, wasn't it? Cricket team. They pulled out of a bid to buy a cricket team. Glazer owns the Desert Vipers Cricket Club in Dubai. There you go.
So interesting. Wow, there you go.
Didn't they own like a shopping centre in Qatar or something like that as well?
Well, because when the Sheikh Jassim thing was happening, it was like they do have businesses there, so
Yeah, something like that. So
Scar says, I actually don't want it. I want the Glazers out, but I want someone who understands the culture, doesn't treat the club like a toy. Well, some people would argue we still don't have that. So yeah. CJK Digital says, just a thought. What does Ineos gain from this? I'm assuming they have lost money and dented their reputation overall. I don't think Sir Jim sees it like that. When he speaks, he definitely makes it clear he's happy to be the guy that takes the abuse. Like he makes it seem like, because he said, what did he say? I'm paraphrasing, but did he say like, I got pelters or I got criticism for those lunches, or the staff going away, but it was necessary. It was this, it was that. He doesn't really seem to have a problem in public anyway with like taking the flack. He is that type of businessman. He seems where he's like, I don't care if this is unpopular and people won't like me. I don't care.
Oh, yeah, he's a very outspoken man, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, on a variety of different topics. I mean, he speaks a lot on politics. I mean, the fact he moved to Monaco was in 2010. I don't think Jim Ratcliffe particularly cares that much about his, public image per se.
Yeah. Or if Ineos look bad because they're like, listen, we don't care what people say. It's a process. It's not going to turn around in an instance. We're building. We believe in what we do. He's very calm in terms of that, isn't it?
Yeah, and also this is when it goes back to, because I know James has mentioned this quite a lot, and it is true. I do think that Sir Jim Ratcliffe genuinely cares about Manchester United, and he genuinely wants Manchester United to succeed. We just may have very different perspectives of how you would go about doing that, or the right way about doing that, or the successful way of doing that. But I don't doubt that he does. That the reason he got into this wasn't necessarily to make money, is because he wanted to, succeed and eventually purchase all of Manchester United. It's just whether or not he's actually any good at it. Ineos's track record in sport is pretty shit, isn't it? So that's the pushback. But when you've got enough money to try these things, they're going to continue to try these things, right?
Yeah, exactly that, bro. Judah James says maybe it's the start of the club trying to lock down on leaks. They can only control things on their end, being optimistic. Yeah, you started that super chat by saying maybe it is, bro. Maybe it is. I think at this stage it's very much like you got to just hypothesize. You got to have an open mind. You got to have an open mind and let it play out. My personal feeling is that it won't be that. It won't be this. I don't feel like a bid is coming in, or I don't feel like a bid will come in. Not saying they're not considering it, but maybe they consider it and then they get pushed back to be like, when you start sense checking, say, right, we're considering dropping a bid of X amount. what do you reckon that'll look like through intermediaries? Gets back to the Glazers. Nah, they definitely reject that. They're looking for this. So you just don't even make a bid in the end because you're just like, well, there was no point in that. Like, do you know what I mean? Considering in business is so many things. You can strategize to do so many things. You can have conversations and meetings about, right, what could this look like if we wanted to do this thing? And then you discuss it, you look at it, you think, right, you could get finance from here, which obviously finance is not a problem for these guys. But you go, right, we need to reach out maybe indirectly or something to the sellers, get a feel for it, what's going on. Or are they even sellers? Are they even open to this? Are they closed off to this? Is there even any point me pressing send on this email or whatever to request a meeting with the, do you know what I mean? And then it just becomes a non-story. So we have to wait and see, man. That's all we could do.
Yes, and speaking of all we can do, we've got over 1,600 people watching right now, and maybe all the chat can do is click the like button at the moment, Flex. Yeah, we're at 336 likes. It's Friday. It's a big story. So yes, if you haven't already, click the like button and be sure to subscribe. Did you say that Turkey was going to buy the club, Flex?
Did I say Turkey?
That's what they're saying in the chat, saying Turkey isn't buying the club.
Yeah, I know that. I must have slipped at the time because I know that. That's what we've been saying this whole show. So
it was in response to a super chat. I was distracted.
Oh, right.
But I do remember when all of this takeover stuff was happening before. I do remember rumors and stories about, because obviously when you talk about the UAE. And you talk about Abu Dhabi, of course, we know their ownership of Manchester City. I do remember hearing those rumors at the time. That was like other parties in the UAE, the likes of Dubai, are interested in purchasing Manchester United, and it would be seen as again, money's no object, and it's as a sense of status. You know that you've got the biggest. That you've got these two. States in the UAE purchasing two of the biggest clubs in England, and they're going up against each other and this, that, and the other. Maybe it's a continuation of that, right? Maybe it's a continuation of that. Perhaps you never know.
Yeah, we have to just. I think closing statements on this is like
it's going to happen. We've got new owners. That's what it is.
So you're saying in show style. So you're saying. Let's just wait and see. Go on with this thing here because we don't know, bro. We have to just wait and see if anything develops. Does it all go quiet from here on out? In terms of Turkey Al Sheikh, he said all he needs to say now, really, innit? I don't think unless his next update is it's happened. Yeah, that's it. All it could be is Mike Drop or Nigel Farage. You all laughed at me. Like that's all. Or there's an extra development of those negotiations aren't happening anymore. They've ceased. Well,
that could be the ultimate. Like, we'd have to create a new tier. People go tier 1, tier whatever.
That's not. You wouldn't even call it a tier.
If it ends up, that someone from the UAE ends up purchasing Manchester United, even regardless of how soon it happens or not. Like, let's say it happens in a year's time or whatever, and you circle back to that post from Turkey, you'd be like, now, mate, like I just post the Tony Stark gif when the big thing's gone off and he's just standing there like that. You'd have to be like, who's more in the know than him? So as of right now, like you said, not getting too carried away. I still don't really, not that I don't believe there aren't people working on it. I don't know if I believe it will happen. I think there's an important distinction there, isn't there? I believe it's a real thing. I believe there are conversations. I believe there are people in the UAE, maybe trying to put together a package, maybe reaching out to former players and what have you. The belief actually of could this thing become a reality and become a thing? I don't know. I don't know about that one. That's we've got to go through quite a few steps before we start fully believing. And we're quite, to be fair, as a fan base, and I've noticed this the last sort of 48, 72 hours. Yeah, I do think from what happened a couple of years ago with that whole takeover stuff, we kind of have learned to maybe not lose our minds as much 100%. About this stuff.
And if you haven't, more for you. I remember being, I don't know how many days I was into being in Qatar at the time for the World Cup, but I remember being there when that news was breaking about, when the club released that statement of, it was an official statement of, we are looking at strategic alternative. I always
you're in
remember
Qatar
that bit there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember sitting doing videos about it from then all the way through to when it actually, you know, became clear it was going to be Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And like we all lived through it. We were all there. Like, it was such a, you know, hopeful time at the start of what this could look like. Oh, yeah, they're going to go. Like, it just didn't.
I know Charles right. The Rio video on the train platform, which is very infamous. Very infamous at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
Company's
like
house.
Says, the Altani era. Yeah. Because I was out there at the time with, you know, some of the Qatari royal family or other members of it, but it wasn't that Sheikh Jassim. It was a different Sheikh. Like, it was real. It was a real thing. Like, that I do know. I 100% being in that part of the world with the people that I was with wasn't the one that was doing the bid. Wasn't that Sheikh Jassim, but people who really knew who he was or understood what that was going on. And obviously it just didn't materialize. But yeah, it was some time. It was some time, bro. It was.
Yeah.
And we just have to wait and see what happens with that. Let's get to finish off the super chat. Scar says, by culture, I'm talking United culture, e.g. class of 99, etc. Youth development would be a wrap under Turkey. He'd just buy superstars every week. Well, it's not. First of all, it's not going to be under Turkey. Yeah. We have to stop doing that because it's not him. And just well, it's not Turkey, so we can't really discuss that. But I don't know if, like, you know, people say if we get that, we finish. They don't understand this. They don't understand that. I just think they want to do. They've just got a wealth of resources, and they just want the best. Do you know what I mean? These people just want the best. So whatever it takes to get the best is usually what they do. If that means bringing in the best manager, the best coaches, the best scouts, the best chefs, the best architects to build a stadium, like, it's just the best of everything.
And also, I think that is a bit of a lazy comparison because, of course, back in the day, you know, when you had these, you know, states or you had foreign ownership come in, and people used to look at, you know, the Abramovich model or the early Manchester City model of, we've got money now, we're just going to buy everyone, you know, and we're going to blow people out. Or PSG.
I don't even work like that with PSR now.
PSG, we're going to, the Galacticos, we got Messi, we got Neymar, we got Mbappe, we're going to beat everyone. And every single person there that did that learned their lesson of, can't do that. Doesn't really work, you know. And look at PSG now, enjoying their best success that they've had, going away from the superstar model. You look at, say, Manchester City, obviously spent a lot of money and maybe other stuff off the pitch, but moved away quite quickly from, we just got to sign Robinho. You know, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. Because a lot of these owners realize then you don't make that amount of money a lot of time by accident. You know, you're quite savvy people. And they realize quite quickly that actually, no, football, this is how it's got to operate. You do have to have, you know, a good youth academy. You have to be ruthless with players, but also you need to be smart with the money that you're spending. So I think the idea that just because, you've got someone from, let's say it's from Dubai, they've got the owner, they wouldn't care about youth recruitment. Why not? Why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Manchester United, it's a prerequisite.
It's part of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's part of it. And if you talk about making money and making it the best and getting youngsters that are really, they would be interested. Like I said, it's about best of the best. Jason says, what would make you fully believe? Just when I see it as that is not done, but like when just everyone across the board, including the club, say, yes, the Glazers have accepted a bid from Dubai. So from the UAE,
I think
that would make me believe.
Once it starts getting coverage from like your Bloombergs of like a bid's gone in, it's being considered, that kind of stuff. That's what I'd be like, wow,
that would be significant because it's like, wow, someone's trying to buy the club again. This is massive. Will they say yes? Will they say no? But that would still lead to, you know, the Glazers could just fucking do this again. Like, I'm not getting
until the word accepted.
Until I saw 100%, bro.
It's used.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Tish, that's exactly what I'm saying. He'll only believe when it's done. I'll be honest. I would. Obviously an Ornstein bomber, but it depends what the bomber is.
It's even kind of above Ornstein's pay grade, though, isn't it? We're talking, you know what I mean? Like, again, multi-billion-pound, you know, acquisition. It's like Ornstein's, you know, he's a bit, it's always disrespectful to say, but a bit smaller fry than that. You know what I mean? It is kind of a Bloomberg, you know, what's that guy's name from Sky News? Mark Kleinman, who's like the city correspondent. He's not like a football correspondent. He's like a business correspondent. It's something like that. Needless to say, if the Glazers do leave Flex, I'll buy a Manchester United WWE Championship. Or you can do it for me. It's fine.
Do you know what? If I will say that the same way that you had a cutoff point of like, yeah, I'll do the hot chip with Donnarumma plus Belabor. If we get new owners, you will get a WWE belt.
You heard it here first, folks. Yeah,
yeah.
That's a verbal contract as far as
new
I'm concerned.
Majority owners, not Sir Jim swaps out for somebody else, and it's UAE and they've
already
got
changing the details, but okay, that's fine.
No, I've just made it very, very clear. New majority owners.
Okay.
There you go. It's very
part
simple.
Part of the purchase agreement, you know, is clearing the debts. 100% of the club. It's no longer publicly traded. It's private. Owen gets Manchester United WWE Championship. It's all there it's all there in the
you can try and add in the 4.1, the 4.2, the 4.3 clause, the 4.4. No, it's just clause number 1. If there is new majority owners, Owen will get a belt. That's it. Not talks. Not it might happen. Not
of course not happen.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, live in 4K, mate. You could be watching in 8K. If we get new majority owners, Owen gets his belt. And I think that would be, listen, we'd be all jumping for joy. We'd all be doing a madness if that happened. So, yeah, there you go.
This is when I double cross you, Flex. I'm going to get the phone on. I'm going to go to Thomas Ziliakis and say, we've got to put together a deal to become the new Manchester United majority owners. We can use the app you were talking about before, and we can get a WWE Championship out of it. That's what we got to do.
Scar says, appreciate the pushback. You actually made a really good point, Owen, and made me reconsider. Kudos and love the channel. That's very deep. Look at that.
Look at that.
Why can't we be like this as fans? As not like that.
There you go.
Isn't that such a healthy relationship, bro? I think this. Well, I'll tell you what, Scars. I think this. Scars goes, you know what? Just had a thought about what you said. You make a really good point. I just reconsidered. Thank you. Not always has to be like that, but
no, of course.
I like it. A nice way to end the show. It is Friday, which means it is the day of the Trinity. So we will be with you at 4 p.m. Myself.
So we're trying to stay calm. We're trying to stay calm. I tell you what, if we start the show, I've got an idea. We'll save it. I've got an idea.
I'm not dressing up.
Oh.
In fact, I don't even. Do you know what? I'll be honest. I don't even think my stuff is accessible right now. That stuff. Maybe I don't think it is. I'm not sure. But yeah, but also I've said to myself, until I get more, like my remit, I want it to be higher than that.
I just thought it'd be, funny start because then we're going to play it measured, and then it's you and KG and the Thobes.
I don't know. Well, first of all, I need to see if that's even possible. So let's start there. All right, people. We'll see you in some capacity at 4 p.m. I don't know what it's going to be like, but we will be live at 4 p.m. For the Trinity episode. Lost count now. So yeah, see you then, people. Smash a like on the video as you leave, and subscribe to United View as well. Thanks for rocking with us this morning. Thanks to everyone who's put in super chats. Thanks to everyone who's put in members chats, and of course everyone who's been getting involved in the chat as well. Does anyone else's OCD get triggered by Fleck versus Flex? I don't know. A lot of people just kind of just go with it, innit? But
I'm at this point, after over 4 years, it's very interchangeable for me. I'm not even sure which ones I'm saying at different points. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it's Fleck, sometimes it's Flex. I think depending on how serious I'm being at the time,
Yeah.
But in my brain there is no difference. There is no difference between Fleck and Flex.
Shout out Dave. No, just arrived to the stream. Dave, you're 53 minutes late. Just rewind right now. Just rewind, and then you can watch it. Essentially, it'll be like we're talking to you, Dave. And I'm saying this to give you more sort of live bits just for you, so you feel like you're watching it live, but actually you've rewound. Yeah, if you get what I'm saying. Shout out, Dave. Right, guys, we'll see you later on at 4 p.m. Take care. We're out of here. Peace.